Well, welcome back. These classes are very difficult for me. I'll just be flat out honest. There's so much to share with folks. And fortunately, we have 2 weeks. Think of the places I go and I only have 1 to 2 days. And I'm trying to, and they're sucking me out like they're sucking a sponge dry. And I like sharing. But even with 2 weeks, it's not enough time. And that's where you continue to learn. And there's some resources for you. Someone asked, well, you know, I didn't even cover all the ones I had planned on covering. Let me share with y'all, if you have some physician friends that would like to go and start doing more natural, well, this is what a buddy of mine does. He's a gastroenterologist. He's the guy that does, you know, colonoscopies and that kind of stuff. Works on stomach problems. So here's what he does. He likes natural. So you sit down with him and he says, Mr. Jones, let's see here. This is my prescription. Now see if you get what he's doing. This is what I'd like you to eat between now and the next time you come. He gives them this diet. And he says, I'd really like you to start exercising. And this is how much exercise I'd like you to do between now and next time. And I notice you're not drinking much water. You seem a little, your skin turgor's off. You need a little more water. This is how much water I'd like you to drink. And then he says, you know, sunshine, you look a little peaked. You need a little more sunshine. I'd like you to get some sunshine. And I notice you do a little drinking alcohol every once in a while. That's not good on your intestines. I'd like you to at least cut it in half. And then get out and get some fresh air. You really need some fresh air. That would really be good for your blood flow and what all. And you look a little tired this morning. You need to be asleep by 9 o'clock. And we're here in the Bible Belt, you know, read your Bible some. Did you notice anything that he just did? What did he do? He gave the 8 laws of health. And then he says, listen, there's this guy I want you to watch. Now, this is not the cool part. And look up this guy called Walt Cross. Now, this isn't the cool part. And I want you to watch him. He does a lot of health programs on there. Okay, Doc. So then they come back to him next visit, and he says, okay, let's look and see how'd you do. Did you eat what we talked about? Did you drink this much water? Did you exercise? And he goes all through those 8 laws. Isn't that cool? And then he says, did you watch that guy Walt Cross? Oh yes, that was interesting. I got another one at that same place I want you to watch. Now this is the cool part. He says there's another Walt there. He's Walter. I want you to watch this guy called Walter Weiss. He's got some really cool health stuff too. I really want you to start watching. And he's got some other real good stuff there too. Do you see how it works? Do you see how the right hand opens the door for the gospel to walk through? That is slick as butter, wasn't it? But that's what he does to his patients. He's told me that. He's a friend. But I've sent people to him, a lot of people to him. There's some things I just can't see. I can't look inside your colon to see why you're bleeding. I don't know if it's a colitis, ulcerative colitis. I don't know if it's internal hemorrhoid. I don't know if it's a torn polyp. And so Joe goes in there and he looks. And so I send people to him. You know, he might need to take a little more investigation than what I'm able to do. Diagnostics are really good. Are X-ray good at times? Yes, they are. I had a lady call me one time. She said, Walt, can you look at my boy's arm? I think he broke it. And I said, I don't have X-ray vision. Oh, I ain't going to the hospital till I come see you. Now I'm talking Appalachian. And he said, okay, come on, I'm teaching a stop smoking class. So the lady comes in. I get up and I go and look, and the boy's arm is kind of like this. It's pretty gross, a gross fracture. Yes, I think you need to go on down to the hospital and get it looked at. There's some things that we need diagnostics for. There's some things we need a diagnosis for. We just can't figure it out. People come into me and they say, Walt, do I need something for my cholesterol? I don't know. You got your labs? No. Do I need something for my vitamin D? Do I need to take vitamin D? I don't know. Or maybe do I need something for B12? I don't know. Get your lab work, let's look at it, and then we can make a decision. So diagnostics are good. But it's cool as we look at ways that we can help people out. Well, that same place that my friend Joe sends people to, if you didn't catch everything this morning, you can go to YouTube and you can watch a whole lot more than we talked about this morning and at your own leisure and taking notes. Well, I'd like to look at making herbal extracts. Benefits of liquid herbal extracts. The bioavailability. When you ingest a liquid extract, you are able to absorb and utilize the nutrients from the herb right away. You are not having to wait until the capsule breaks down. The potency, the liquid extracts preserves or locks in their nutritional potency much longer than capsules or bulk herbs, which are used for teas. Now, we looked at these bulk herbs before, and a bulk herb will last you, oh, say, maybe a year, 6 months to a year. It doesn't necessarily go bad, but the potency goes down. Now, who puts food up? Anybody put food up? Is that a term you use here? Do you can your food? Do you freeze your food? Do you dehydrate your food? We call that putting up. Yeah, you put it up. Put it up for winter, just like a squirrel. Well, when you make an extract, you're putting up your herbs. Because that herb is going to start, this is red clover, and we're going to make an extract out of red clover. But in order to have a longer shelf life, do you put your tomatoes up? You grow tomatoes? Why do you put your tomatoes up? They'll start rotting. Yeah, well, this will start losing potency. So to keep it most potent, we're going to make an extract, and that's what we're talking about here. Shelf life, liquid extracts have a much longer shelf life, 1 to 2 years, due to the preservation methods which are used when making them, usually 2 years. Easy administered. Many folks, both young and old, have challenges swallowing capsules or tablets. You know people like that? Yes, you can crush it or open it up. Now here's something very important. You want to remember this. If you have a person that cannot swallow a pill, you can crush it as long as there's 2 things. Make sure it's not enteric coated. Enteric coated is where they put a barrier around it. And now we're talking pharmacology here, pharmacy stuff, or pharmacy. And so they put a barrier around it where it doesn't break down until it goes into the small intestines. And so if you crush it, that barrier's not there and it will unload in the stomach. We don't want that. The other one is time release or sustained release. You do not want to crush that because it was made by the pharmaceutical company to break down slowly over X hours. You crush it, they get the full dose right now. And that could be very dangerous. As long as it's not enteric coated, as long as it's not time released, you can crush it. People have problems swallowing. And so what happens is an extract can be swallowed directly, sublingually under the tongue. I like doing that. It can be placed in water, juice, or tea, and then swallowed. Vegetable glycerin extracts are an excellent alternative to alcohol-based, and it says extracts. That shouldn't be. That should be tinctures. A tincture is alcohol. A glycerin, which this is vegetable glycerin, is an extract. And so why do you think I like extracts? Doesn't have the alcohol. Yeah, alcohol, I just don't care to have it in my body. They were discovered in 1789 and came into use by herbalists around 1846. Vegetable glycerin is obtained by the hydrolysis of vegetable fats or fixed oils. It's a vegetarian product. Vegetable glycerin is a great solvent for extracting nutrients from plants without the use of alcohol. These extracts are known as glycerates. and are an excellent choice for administering herbal support to people who are either sensitive to alcohol. Who could be sensitive to alcohol?
All of us.
Pardon?
All of us.
Ooh, that's a good answer. All of us. Yeah. But what primary person could be more sensitive? Yes, alcoholic that has now gone away from alcohol. You just gave him some alcohol and they can put him right back into it. Yeah. Or just choose not to use it. And that's us. I just choose not to use it. The anti-fermentive properties which are in glycerin are very effective in preserving the nutrients which are in herbal extracts. A glycerin has a shelf life of 14 to 24 months versus alcohol extract which has a shelf life of 4 to 6 years. So the alcohol extract has two benefits. The shelf life, it also, like wild lettuce. Who's heard of wild lettuce? It's my favorite for pain. Does it grow here?
Yeah, yes, it do.
Will it grow?
It's rare, but it is here.
Excellent, good. Wild lettuce is a tremendous painkiller. Bone cancer, excellent for bone cancer. Very, very powerful. But to make an extract, glycerin just doesn't pull the phytochemicals out of the plant material like alcohol does. So people will go with the alcohol. Well, can you think of anything that may make this work more effective? I expect her to come up with it. Prayer. Could prayer do that? Could God make this more powerful? Equal to the alcohol and pulling out the phytochemicals out of wild lettuce? Absolutely could. So pray that God would bless it and make it more potent. Yeah, I have no question. So it has a longer shelf life and it can pull some phytochemicals out of some plants that glycerin under normal circumstances does not. When making a glycerate with dried herbs, it is common to use a little hot water to rehydrate the herbs and loosen up the botanical matter. Generally, a mixture of 60% or more glycerin to 40% or less water is safe ratio. Less than 60% glycerin, you can have pathogen growth. You don't want pathogen growth. And so you want at least 60% glycerin. To err on the safe side for safety, many go with 75%, 25%. So a lot of people will do to make it easy math, they'll do a 2 to 1, which that's a 66 to 33, or they'll do a 3 to 1, which is a 75-25. The problem with 75, glycerin is sweet. And though it's not sugar, it may be sweeter than what your tongue is used to. And you may choose more of a 3 to 1 instead of a 2 to 1 instead of a 3 to 1. When working with fresh, moist herb, one can use 100% glycerate for the extract. Just make sure to stir well. So why can we go to 100%? The water in the plant material, yes. So it's hydrated, and so that will give you some water. Directions, and we'll read through this, and then we'll do one, so you can see it done. Fill the mason jar. Do y'all know what a mason jar is? That's a brand. I think I'm not even sure if Mason makes them even anymore. A company bought them out, I believe. There's Ball, B-A-L-L, that's another brand, but it's a canning jar. Fill the mason jar halfway with dried herb. Oh, you ever learn by mistakes? Remember my mistake I did with the sprouts? Mary Lou's friend said just put 2 tablespoons in here and then put water in here to make a quart of sprouts. I thought, what a waste. I put a whole cup of alfalfa sprouts. it broke the jar. It broke the jar. Well, I still, you know, sometimes I'm a little hard-headed. And so I'm making the, and plus sometimes I remember when I used to make model cars, I didn't like reading the directions. I can figure that out. Oh yeah, I got to put the motor in there before gluing that together. And that's a problem. You got to tear it apart, stick the motor in there, then glue it back together. Well, so the first time I made an extract, I filled it plumb full with nettle. Is there a problem? Where's my glycerin going to go? Started pouring it, just didn't work too well. And so I took a spoon and dug it out. Well, I ended up making 2 quarts instead of 1 quart. And so you want to fill it about half full, or 2/3 the way full if it's fresh herbs. Chop dried herbs well before mixing the menstruum. Why do you want to chop your dried herbs well? Surface area. Surface area for the phytochemicals to come out of the plant material. It now has some more surface area so it can come out into your extract. And that's true even with, let's say you're using some roots. You have long roots. We chop them up. You can use powder. I don't like using powder, but you can. But you can, I like chopping it up very fine, and, you know, a lot of surface area. In a separate jar, mix 3 parts organic vegetable glycerin, 1 part distilled water, shake to combine. Why distilled water? Pathogens. You don't want to add, you know, any potential. This thing is to make you well, not to make you sick. And so you want to use distilled water. You could probably boil water. Not everybody in the world has distilled water, but at least boil it is important. Bring a pot of distilled water to a boil and turn off. Now this is another thing that we're doing, and that's what Mary Lou is doing right now, or just did. She's coming back in. After approximately 30 seconds, pour only enough of the hot water into the mason jar to effectively rehydrate the herb and open all the cells. And so with that little flash pour, then we're going to open those cells. Now, let's go ahead and we'll do this part because she just came back. Did you come back with the hot water, or are we going to make it? Okay, it's hot, great. So what we're going to do, okay, good. Who's ever had red clover? Anybody? Does it grows here, yes? Okay. It's a great product. That same author we were talking about said we should drink it every day. Red clover is just super good. It fights cancer, prevents cancer, fights it if you do have it, and then it's good for, it's a great blood purifier. Well, of course, cancer, blood purifier going together. And it even has some phytoestrogen benefits also, and there's debate on that. So let's say, so here's this. So we're just going to put a little bit in here. Try to mix it up. I don't want to. So that it's all wet with this hot water. I don't want to put a lot more of the water in there yet. Okay, so we'll leave it there for a few moments. And so it's making it break up. Let's go ahead and make the other while we're at it.
If you take too much water, what happens? Nothing?
Nothing. You just add more glycerin. Now,
if we can't buy glycerin, what can we use instead?
I don't know anything else. Can you get glycerin? Now this is the messy part. Now what's my ratio I'm going to use? How much glycerin? How many parts? Okay, so let's do 2 to 1. Now, do you foresee a problem here? What am I mixing? Oil and water, or something with the same viscosity as oil. Could I have some challenges? Does water mix well with oil? No, it doesn't. Again, that's oil for some people. We say oil. So we'll see if this is enough. If not, we'll just make more. I don't think this will be enough. But, oh boy, I'm making a mess. See why I didn't use that other one? Okay, so now how much water do I need? 1, yeah. So I don't think it's going to be enough, but we'll start with this. So this is distilled water. So there's 2 ways you can do it. You can start, or
Heat it up? Would it be easier?
pardon? I don't know. It works pretty good just like that. It might, I don't know. Okay, so now I want to pour it up to about an inch from the top. At least an inch above. Now, do I have enough? No, I haven't covered all the plant material. It needs to be at least an inch above plant material. So I got to make more. Now I did 1 of those, so how much of this one am I going to do? Half, yes. Now, I believe we'll have enough. Let's look and see how we are. There's plenty. Now, what you'll do you foresee a potential action that may take place? Could float? Have you ever mixed water into a product, and as the product soaks it up, the water goes, kind of like beans? Have you ever gone and soaked beans and all of a sudden you're out of water and you put more water in it? Well, the same thing true. Now you can see there's that much there. That's probably going to work, but what you'll do over the next 24 hours, you'll just kind of monitor this and make sure that the plant material doesn't suck it up. It can, some plant materials, but this is good right here. So what you do, can you give me a paper towel? So what you're going to do is you're going to label this. What is the product? What's that plant material? Red clover. What's the date? Okay, you'll put the date on here. And then you're going to put what ratio you used. And what was the ratio that you did? 2 to 1. Right, you'll put that on here. Now, thank you. So where's it go now? In the cupboard. Put it up in the kitchen cupboard, and twice a day you're going to do this. That's all you need. Now what I'll do, now make sure it's got a good top. I turn it upside down. Then, the next time I do it, I do it right side up. And you do this for 30 to 40 days. Most people do it for 30 days. When you're finished, you can take it and get one of them, y'all have them funnel things for canning? Put that there, put this here, and you'll pour it through a kitchen strainer. All the way through. Then I'll take like a little bag, like this, exactly like this. Could be a bread bag. And I'll take a little pair of scissors and I'll clip just a little piece off of here. Then I put my plant material in here. Now they make presses that you can press, herb presses. Most folks don't have them. So what I'll do is I'll take it. Who's milked a cow? Anybody milked a cow? Yeah. And so I'll squeeze it like milking a cow. Now maybe you haven't milked a cow, but have you ever gone and done cake decorating? Same situation. You keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, and there's never a bit left of liquid into your plant material. Once it's all out, throw this away. Now, you then have your extract. And that extract is good for 14 to 24 months. But let's say that you want it. Have you ever seen extra strength extract? Well, here's how you make extra strength extract. Now, this is when it gets tough. So, you do just the opposite. And you have to do it. You have to be careful. So what you'll do is you'll take your extract, and you've got your extract that you made, it's dark in color. You get you some more herb, but this time, instead of putting the herb first, I put the extract first. Because I don't want to mess up. Have you ever poured too much of something? Well, you don't want to make that mess. Because you don't have, see, I can make up some more of this, but I can't make more of my extract because I've just got this X amount. So what I'll do is I'll take my extract and then I'll just start putting a little bit of herb in there, shake it up until I get this consistency again. See what I'm doing? When I get this consistency again by adding a little at a time, doing it throughout the day because some herbs do soak up over time. Once I get this again, then I do it again for another 30 to 40 days. And now that new plant material now is going to make it twice as strong. That's how you get extra strength extract. Isn't that cool? So, but let's say the neighbors are sick and you're scared that your family might get sick. I need to make me something right fast. Well, you don't have 30 to 40 days to make it. How can you make it faster? Well, you can do turbocharge. You know, like NOS. Yeah, we can turbocharge it. And the way you do that is, does anybody have a crock pot? Y'all use crock pot cooking? Y'all know what crock pots are? Yes. You know, the little pots like this, you can turn it down on low and you cook overnight? We need a class on crock pot cooking. That is tremendous. Crock pots. So you get a crock pot that will go low, plumb low, totally low. And then what you'll do is you'll get that crock pot and you'll put a towel down in it. And then you put your 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, you might have made several. And you fill it to where the water is half up to your, up your jar. And you have it on low. And in 3 days, it will be done. A lot faster, isn't it? You still have to shake it every day, but be cautious. And this is where ladies that are working out of the house, it's a lot easier because you can keep an eye on that water. Because see, if you go to work and you worked a long day and you had to work overtime and you come back home and all that water is gone, you can scald this and now it's ruined. Plus you got you a towel in there you don't want a fire either. And so you want to keep an eye on it. And as long as you're close by or whatever, you can do that, and you'll get an idea of how fast your particular crock pot will cause the evaporation process to go. But that's how you can do an extract in 3 days instead of 30 or 40 days. Now, how do you do that crock pot as a double? Do the same thing as we did before. Put it back in for 3 days, and in 6 days you have double strength extract. But the neighbor's kids are all snotty-nosed, and you want to make some elderberry real quick or something, you got 3 days and boom, you're done. And hopefully you caught it before things started coming your way because you kept the kids at the house, you got your antiviral stuff, they can start taking it, and you can get their immune system up. Any questions? Okay, let's keep going. Pour the menstruum, where the menstruum was where we made the combination of the, what is this? The vegetable glycerin with the, what kind of water? Distilled water. That's the menstruum. Over the herb and completely cover to fill the jar within 1 inch of the top. Now, how much herb did we put in there? We filled the jar half, unless it was fresh herb, and you filled it how much? Yes, 3/4. Okay, label the mason jar with the date, the ratio of the glycerin to water, and herbs used. Ooh, herbs, that's plural. So could we make multiple? So maybe it's not just red clover, it might have echinacea or golden seal, or any herb, multiple herbs that do the same thing. Let's say you've got a person with cirrhosis of the liver, and you want an extract, but you only want 1 bottle instead of 2 bottles. So out of what we talked about this morning, what are 2 herbs that we could put in there for cirrhosis of the liver? Milk thistle and dandelion, which one? Root. That's right, root. Let's say that you've got a person that has congestive heart failure. What's something that we can use for congestive heart failure? We talked about it earlier. Dandelion leaf. But what's another herb that's really good for congestive heart failure? Starts with an H. Hawthornberry. Hawthornberry is the best herb for the heart. For the heart, yes. For the lung, what's the best herb for the lung? Mullein. Does mullein grow here? Oh, mullein is phenomenal. Lungwort. Does lungwort grow here? I'm sure God has something here for lungs. I'm sure He does. But the best herb in our neck of the woods in the United States is mullein. Mullein is extremely good. Some people call it rabbit tobacco. Some people call it lamb's ear. There's different names for different herbs. Let's see, place in a dark location. And then when you put it in jars, after you make your extract, you're not going to probably keep it, in that big jar. You're probably going to put it in 1 or 2 ounce little bottles that have droppers on them. And do you want a clear or do you want an amber, dark? Dark, yes. That will preserve the herb longer. Yes?
Any consideration when it comes to temperature and storage?
That's a very good question. You want it kind of cool. Like this. You don't want it hot. You definitely wouldn't put it by the stove. Yes. We talked about agitating it twice a day for 4 to 6 weeks. Strain with cheesecloth or a milk bag. I like using this. It's a little easier. You can wash this out a little bit better. Do y'all know what a milk bag is? Okay, what do you use your milk bag for?
It's not for getting the thickness out or something.
Okay, do you ever make milk? Who's made almond milk? Yes, or coconut. You've probably done coconut milk, yes? Pardon? Almond milk, yes. And so Mary Lou will make her almond milk, and will you share your recipe with them? Well, if she won't, I will. So it's great. Her almond milk is delicious. It's easy to make. You don't have to cook it. It's not heated. And she uses the almond milk, the milk bag, or she can put it in a press. But we just milk you got to milk. You got to milk when you're getting milk. And so you milk the almonds. And so you squeeze that and squeeze it and you get it all out. And that gives you your almond milk. Or you can use cheesecloth. Put it in the bottle, label the amber bottle with the date, ratio of the glycerin to water, and herbs used. So you want to put that on your bottle. You want to think, well, what was that there now? I forgot what it was. Could you take the wrong stuff? I have a good friend. This was essential oil, which is herbs on steroids. We'll talk about essential oils maybe later. And he was at home alone. His wife wasn't there. She was at work. And he wanted some echinacea. So he just took the bottle and took a big swig and mouthful of it. It wasn't echinacea. It was oil of oregano, 100%. And he swallowed it. He thought he was going to die. He couldn't breathe. This guy's a doctor. He thought he was going to die on the kitchen floor. And God preserved him. I don't know what happened, if they're getting better or not, but he sure didn't make that mistake again. The label had fallen off the oil of oregano, and he thought that it was echinacea. Yeah, definitely a dangerous thing. So know what you got in there. Directions, let's see, enjoy the benefits. Note, if you use a fine powder, you may need to double filter. You may need to use a coffee filter. This is the only times that you use coffee filters. It's the only thing coffee filters are good for. When I make the best thing for eye infections is golden seal. The best thing. I'll put maybe just 1/8 of a teaspoon of golden seal to 1/8 of a cup of water, make a little tea, mix it together because it's expensive, yes? And so you don't waste it. So I'll make it, and then I will pour it through a coffee filter because, see, when you use a paper towel, it wicks real bad, and you lose a lot. And so a coffee filter doesn't wick as bad, and then you put it in the eye. It's the best thing for eye infection. Pink eye works extremely well. Or you could use a coffee filter here to ensure no botanical material remains in the glycerin. Why don't we want the botanical material? It's just more that could go bad. Yeah. If the extract is needed sooner or faster process is desired, you can substitute 4 to 6 weeks of waiting to use a crock pot for 3 days. Place a towel on the bottom of the crock pot to prevent the mason jar from breaking. Cover the mason jar halfway with water in the crock pot. Turn the crock pot to low or warm, the lowest setting, and leave for 3 days. And again, you're shaking it. Add water as needed to maintain the water level at halfway up the mason jar. Agitate twice a day for 3 days. Monitor to assure the chosen crock pot does not get too hot. Very, very important. You'll scald it, ruin it. And that's it. And we're going to go to, what are we going to do next? Poultices, yeah.